Hello, collective. Welcome back to my channel. This is Intuitive Tarot. Thank you all for returning. Hopefully, you all are doing extremely well, blessed, and highly favored. As you can see, I've already pulled a few cards. So, listen, somebody that got caught up. Somebody that got caught up. And I feel like, a Pisces could know, um, who this is. This could be involving a Pisces, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Because I feel like, you know how when you have your suspicions about something, you know what I'm saying? And time, just tells on people. You know what I'm saying? The longer they keep it hidden. But the first card that came out is their child snitched on her, having his friends over. So this, could be somebody person had kids with. You know what I'm saying? Six of Cups. Somebody had some kids with somebody. Or they, a stepdad or stepmom to somebody, you know what I'm saying, kids. But they kids snitched on them to this guy about his friends being at her crib. You got 2020 that came out. They could have had a kid with this person back in 2020. Don't have to be. 2020 could be of significance. The next card, wasted so much time that I lost you for good. It came out in reverse. Somebody, feel like they may have lost you for good. By being in reverse, they could, be working on, keeping that from being something that actually is, for good. But I pulled, some tarot on the snitching. And Six of Pentacles came out. Taurus energy. Could be a Taurus. Don't have to be. Could it be involving a Taurus? One of these people could be a Taurus. Whoever this person friends is. Giving and receiving. Material goods, money, energy. Giving and receiving. Alright? But the Three of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Collaborating, working together. You know what I'm saying? Could have been up to 3 friends that came over with this Three of Pentacles. They could be, you know what I'm saying? This could be a get back, you know what I'm saying, period, or somebody using this as a way to like get back at somebody, for something they feel like, they can use as an opportunity to come up. You know what I'm saying? At the bottom of the deck, like I said, you got the Three of Pentacles, you got the High Priestess, and you got the Ten of Pentacles. So somebody, Pisces, High Priestess, somebody knows, and they know. Like somebody knows what they know. All right? I don't know if this person, is whoever this feminine is. I don't know if they unaware or aware of this masculine knowing. They may not have told them, but I feel like somebody already knows. Or they knew something before somebody snitched. Like somebody already, this snitching could have been just like clarity. But this Three of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles is giving me somebody that, they collaborated, they worked together. Got to give a little if you don't get a little. What made these kids snitch on her? What made these kids snitch on her? How did that happen? What made these kids snitch on her? What made her kids snitch on her? You know, kids will be kids, you know, but sometimes, you know, kids will do something out of anger. What made these kids snitch on her? Or did they know they were snitching? What made these kids tell this or bring this up? What made these kids bring this up? What made their kids bring this up? What was going on for these kids to bring that up? What was going on for these kids to bring this up? What made them bring this up? What made them tell this? Child, a magician. With the fool at the bottom of the deck. And the 9 of Wands. When these kids brought this up, like they were not aware of, like they didn't know that they, because the Fool talks about, you know, the fear of the unknown. You know what I'm saying? New path, you know, going on a journey. These kids telling this was a way to clear the path for somebody to go on and to see something. Because I feel like somebody was sticking around for the kids, or they were sticking around, you know, thinking that, you know, this person was going to do right by them, you know, with them being involved and stuff like that, and doing right, at least by these kids. And I feel like somebody, you know, the kids didn't know that they didn't know that they were speaking on something that could end something or cause somebody else, you know, to take another path, to go in a different direction. And I feel like they were being guided, you know, to say something to make, you know, to communicate something. You know what I'm saying? It just came out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? The magician. It's just something that came up. They had no idea, you know, where it would lead or what would happen. You know, they were just being kids, but it allowed somebody, you know, for their path to be cleared. You know what I'm saying? For them to take this leap of faith, you know what I'm saying? To, you know, step into the unknown, like to go, you know, they didn't know, you know what I'm saying, that that's what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? But this person tried to be defensive. It's like somebody tried to be defensive and possibly tried to love bomb this person when they did it. You know what I'm saying? When the kids told me, brought this up. Like somebody tried to love bomb another person, Page of Cups. Why is 2020 out here? Why is 2020 out here? Who is this 2020 significant to? What is that about? What was going on with 2020? What was going on with 2020? Why is 2020 out here? Why is 2020 out here? Clarify 2020. What's 2020? Alright, you got the Two of Swords in reverse. And the Four of Pentacles. The Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck. This could be surrounding somebody that possibly, had a lot on their plate. They may have had a lot of, decisions they needed to make. They could have been at a crossroads. Like, yeah, a whole lot of, shit may have, came into play. It was being said. And somebody having to make a difficult choice, one way or the other in 2020. With this Four of Pentacles, like they could have been saving money. They could have been, hoarding or like taking, this could be a taker. You know what I'm saying? But this also talks about, somebody saving money. They could have had some financial concerns, back in 2020. Like they could have got like a downpour of things that was coming in, that was messages, like things that they, had to deal with, that they were being told. Like somebody got a whole bunch of decisions they had to make at one time, and it's like somebody not knowing what direction to go in with that. You know what I'm saying? And they may have been dealing with some type of financial loss, or they were afraid, of making any changes, to their life at that time. Like somebody may have had some things going on where they, wasn't able, they may not have told you what they had going on financially, but somebody was in a bind. Like they could have been, being stubborn and just a fear of change and the unknown, like, being stubborn about something. Like somebody, could have been breadcrumbing you, but they could have had, some financial issues back in 2020. This could have been somebody you may have celebrated with, during that time, may have hung out with, went places, did things together, family, stuff. But it's given, somebody that had like a flood of, information coming in. And it could have left them in a bad situation, with having to make a decision regardless of, what it might turn out to be or whatever. Especially if the changes they needed to make was necessary changes. And, the Four of Pentacles talks about, being stubborn to change. You know what I'm saying? Being fixed in their ways and shit. And, trying to hold tight to what they, and sometimes being that way can block you from your success because you holding back and like, kind of scared of changing or, releasing some old ways or old way of being or something like that. And yeah. especially if they, not willing to admit like whatever truth they had going on as to why, they breadcrumbed you, or why you breadcrumb somebody, like somebody, two or so, it's like somebody may have refused, to come clean about something in the past, or be honest about something and make some changes so things could, turn out better than they did. Because I feel like somebody held back, because how somebody feel like they think you know something, but they don't want to come forward until they for sure how much you know. So that being said, like they may have let, something go on the way it did, and they just refuse to change. Like, I ain't gonna, stop doing what I'm doing because that person didn't tell me, exactly what I was doing. They didn't, right out tell me exactly, what they caught me up in, or what they, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody could have, played on somebody's intuition. Because this next card right here says, wasted so much time that I lost you for good. Four of Pentacles. And this person may have, wasted a lot of time, with some being at a crossroads and not knowing what direction to go in, or feeling like, they needed to know something more, or they needed to see what was going on. It could have been a third party situation with this female here, you know what I'm saying, that they may have had some kids with, or a kid with, and that kid, may have gone on to let them know down the road that, hey, back then, or for a while now, your friend's been coming over here. You know what I'm saying? Or they stopped by. But they, you know what I'm saying, that was something that put the nail in the coffin. But like I said, back in 2020, somebody had, some third party information where they may not have had, everything they needed to know in order, so they may have held up and decided they wasn't going to, make any changes to their life or to themselves, or do anything different, and just continue to let you keep giving to them, being, the way you were toward them, and not telling you the truth, about what was going on, or being honest, like, being upfront with why they held back, you know what I'm saying, or why they, breadcrumbed you, or why they were being so stubborn, and changing, you know what I'm saying, and taking that leap of faith, you know what I'm saying, or why why their finances was the way it was, you know what I'm saying. They may have had something else going on over here with some kids, with another female, and if you didn't know anything about it, it's that moment where, if you don't know, then, you know how they say what you don't know won't hurt you. It's going to hurt somebody, though. It's going to hurt somebody, because this Three of Pentacles, this Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck can also be talking about, a celebration, a baby shower, a new addition, you know what I'm saying? Something, in the family they may have celebrated. And they may have, went in a direction with somebody else, around that time. And, yeah. Clarify this Two of Swords in reverse. What's this Two of Swords in reverse? Clarify the Two of Swords in reverse. You got this Ten of Pentacles that came out with the Seven of Wands at the bottom of the deck in reverse. It could have got, some, this could have been about some stability or something like that you may have gotten, or you may have, they may have got, a windfall of money or some type of abundance, and, somebody giving to them, you know what I'm saying, like creating some type of stable environment or something like that for them. lifestyle or some shit like that, and they may have had, you know what I'm saying, they had a little something going on the side, but they finding out now where that person got their money from. They finding out now where that person, how that person, was making money, or where they was getting money from, or however they been getting money. Yeah. You got the Seven of Wands at the bottom of the deck with the Two of Cups. And the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah. And somebody knew you to be somebody faithful, and you may have chosen yourself in a situation, during that time. But, with this Seven of Wands, it's like, somebody refusing, or, at the time, may have felt um, like not wanting to say something to somebody, because you don't want to come off as somebody aggressive, or come off as somebody that's trying to start an argument or be with some drama, or somebody, not want to stand their ground, with somebody because of what they know may come behind it if they do. So they may have stayed in some type of connection with somebody, out of fear, what would happen if they, what would happen to their finances, their stability. It could be somebody giving to them, and, them being, them walking away, could have caused them to, not be financially stable like they, wanted to be, and coming towards you, would have made it even worse, because, like that would have made that look, make more sense. But, I mean, it's like somebody stayed with somebody or got with somebody because of what they was giving them, what they were getting out of it. You know what I'm saying? But they finding out some more about that person that they, may have had this third party with. That, what's going on with them and they friends now. You know what I'm saying? Not just them, but they homeboys and shit. But at the same time, could be some homegirl situation too. Flip the script. Could be, if I'm talking about a masculine, I could also be talking about a feminine. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. This could be, like I said, it could be a masculine messing with, somebody, friend girls or whatever. And they kids snitched on them. You know what I'm saying? Either way. But it's giving, somebody now, they were with someone that possibly was given to them. And if you didn't know about it, or you didn't bring it up, or you didn't make it known to them, but you did walk away or something like that, then, they left that to be that. But they wasn't going to change or tell, the true Two of Swords, when it came to, the things that they know they had to make a decision in. So they stayed, what I'm saying? And this person could have told this person the truth that they had, what I'm saying? Been honest about. This third party could have been, but they, held back. They held back, what I'm saying? And they kept that person in the dark because that person was given to them. Now, somebody could be given to the masculine could have been given to this feminine, because this feminine been, what I'm saying, collecting, money from him, his friends, and some more shit, if that's the case. Clarify, wasted so much time that I lost you for good. Clarify. Wasted so much time that I lost you for good. Why is it in reverse? Wasted so much time that I lost you for good. Clarify why it's in reverse. No wasting time. Why is it in reverse? You got the Five of Cups, the Judgment, and the Chariot. This person crying over spilled milk. You know what I'm saying? It's some loss, some grief here that they possibly, is going through right now. But it's also, you know, you got the Emperor. I mean, the Empress at the bottom of the deck. With the Ace of Pentacles, new beginnings, new opportunities. Knight of Swords. Three of Swords. Eight of Pentacles. So somebody, you know, whoever this is, collective, you know, they have went through a loss with you. All right. They know that there's a separation that happened. They in some despair, you know, over the time that they let, you know what I'm saying, get by, but they under judgment. They were under judgment, you know what I'm saying? But this is, you know, them taking accountability for, you know, why that time, you know, took so long and what was going on in that time. They're taking accountability for that and looking at the cause and effect, you know, of why you and them, you know, why they wasted so much time, why so much time was wasted. They you know what I'm saying, are, and you may have called judgment on this person for wasting your time, but they taking accountability for that. And doing that. But this Chariot, you know, it's forward movement, you know what I'm saying, with or without you. This person is willing to move forward, you know, and take things, you know, the way it is, like, you know what I'm saying, working on themselves and, you know, going within, looking at, you know, the possibilities of what they're going to have to deal with if they come towards you, you know, with wasting your time. You know what I'm saying? When they know they had something else going on, maybe they hadn't even given you a commitment, which was enough time for them to tell you, you know, why they wasn't able to, whatever the case may be. Instead of letting all that time or years or whatever, accumulate like that. You know what I'm saying? But this is them, you know, with this Chariot, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Somebody definitely, you know, is, you know, there's some forward movement here. But they also, like I said, they have had to, with this judgment, you know what I'm saying, they got to get out when they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? This is them taking accountability, being, you know, when it comes to, you know, them, you know, having to change and accept, you know, the truth about a situation, even if, you know, they didn't have an opportunity to tell you, they still do. And in order for a new opportunity to begin, they have to take accountability for the opportunity that they lost and why they lost it. All right. But this Chariot, you know, is giving forward movement, like I said, but it's also, you know, them having to face, you know, the reality of, you know, what they got to deal with when it comes to possibly losing you for good, but looking at why that happened. You know what I'm saying? And what they allow, you know, to fester and build up and go without, you know, mentioning and talking about, you know what I'm saying, when it was on them, you know, to get that resolve that issue. And if they let time, you know, go by and they still didn't say anything, do anything about that, then that's on them. You know, if something was not going to work out between you and them, at least they would have done told you the truth. But, you know, they're going to have to accept, you know, where something is with you and them right now, especially if they refuse and, you know, keep standing on the fact that they, you know, not going to tell you, you know what I'm saying? Or they not going to, you know, be honest and truthful with you, but they'll be honest and truthful with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? But there's a new opportunity here, Empress. Knight of Swords. You know, somebody feel like, you know, they want to come in and, you know, make something right, you know, and, or they were after some damn lifestyle or something like that. But they could be, you know, determined to make something different. You know what I'm saying? After they, you know, the separation, Three of Swords. You know, and, you know, they may have put in the work now, Eight of Pentacles. They may, you know, have worked on themselves and did the work on themselves, you know what I'm saying, to arrive at where they at right now. So, yeah, let me pamper you, please. Anything else on this message that my collective needs to know? But they finding out, I think something had to end, you know, with somebody before, because somebody, you know, may have still, you know, got involved and kept messing around with this person until these kids said something or this child said something. So something had to end and get this person that clarity, that, that closure that they need in that situation, so they don't go back around to that shit again. Anything else on this message? Here in spirit, baby. I don't know if there was a spirit, baby, between you and this person. Yeah, I want to put you first now. It's one of them cards that came out. Look like it's two more that came out, but somebody want to put you first now. They want to pamper you. Being taken down from the inside. Somebody child goddamn done took their ass down. Then somebody right in their circle, done caused the ending here. And somebody's stuck in conflict because their intuition blocked. Taken down from the inside. Clarify, who is this being taken down from the inside? Clarify. Being taken down from the inside of. Being taken down from the inside. What does this got to do with? The Hierophant, there's somebody in a damn group is being taken down from somebody within a group. It's a group of people. This could be a group known around the world or something like that, with the world at the bottom of the deck. This could be a well-known group of people, but somebody being taken down from the inside, like somebody being taken down by their own hearing constituents. Somebody being taken down by their own congregation. You got the world and you got the Nine of Cups. Clarify the Hierophant. Being taken down from the inside. This could be some type of religious group. Clarify the Hierophant. How are they taking? How are they taking this group down from the inside? What are they doing? You got the Three of Pentacles. Somebody working with somebody, collaborating. Like this could be a student of somebody's or something like that in this group. Like somebody could be a follower, a student, like somebody that practices. They could be new to being in this group. They could be new, newly coming up in the ranks or something like that. But they, like newly, invested in something. Somebody new, like somebody new that has not been in very long, but they may have risen in the ranks or something like that. But something is like, just getting, what I'm saying? Something is just like getting noticed. This is somebody that's just not starting to get recognition in this group. Like they're fine. This is somebody that is rising in the ranks. That they starting to be recognized in this group for something. You know how when you get into a group, you want to do something to impress. You want to, show them that you know what I'm saying, or all in, that you know, on their side and stuff like that. And you go about doing things, you know, like going after some type of lifestyle, or, you know, some type of purpose with the Knight of Swords, you know, with all this aggression and stuff, you know, being real aggressive and, um, you know, very supportive, even, you know what I'm saying, just like a bulldog, you know, in the group, like, yeah, let's do this, and, you know, I can do this, I can go over here and do that, I can, you know, but it's somebody that is constantly applying themselves until they rise in the ranks, like they keep graduating, getting to the next level, getting to the next level. Somebody is getting noticed now, but they being taken down by, yeah, somebody being taken down from the inside by somebody like that. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Yes, indeed. Clarify stuck in intuition, stuck in conflict because of their intuition is blocked. Who is it stuck in conflict? With this blocked intuition, who is this? Who is it stuck in conflict? The death. Stuck in conflict because their intuition is blocked. Clarify. The Empress came out, but stuck in conflict because their intuition is blocked. Clarify. Why are they stuck in conflict? What conflict? What's this conflict over? Show me this person with this blocked intuition that's stuck in conflict. Show me this person. Yeah, somebody that went through a transformation. You got the King of Cups out here. And you got the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Somebody is stuck in conflict because they is coming up against possibly, you know, an Empress, a King of Cups, somebody, you know, that's coming in with some type of message of love or concern or something like that. Especially if they got, you know, some kind of agenda, you know, where they feel like, you know, they got an emotional responsibility to their Empress. Like somebody could have a baby on the way, or they could have, you know, some information or support they want to give, you know, to somebody, you know, right now that's working on something new. They could be, you know, wanting to come together and partner and work on something. But I feel like it's got something to do, you know, with somebody's I feel like it's got something to do with somebody possibly wanting to see, you know, how somebody's able to excel or get where they at. And because of that, somebody is stuck. Because whatever it is meant to keep them. I feel like it's divine intuition. I mean, divine intervention. Like something, you know, is keeping somebody held up to keep them out of somebody's way. And it could be this King of Cups that, you know, got some kind of, you know, that's got some type of got somebody in their way, you know, because they got some type of agenda, like they got a mission that they own. You know what I'm saying? It's something they want to come in with a message, you know, about, but somebody's stuck in conflict. Give me some more on this person stuck in conflict. Stuck in conflict because the intuition is blocked. Give me some more on this person stuck in conflict with their intuition blocked. We got the 8 of Wands. Aries, Leo, Sage. With the Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Like, this is some fast, it's some excitement coming in. But it's got some messages attached. Could be some downloads that somebody getting. Queen of Wands, 3 of Swords, Knight of Cups, 2 of Wands, yeah. Somebody is heartbroken, and I feel like it's got a lot to do because somebody, you know how people, will try to manifest when they, in a lot of pain, a lot of emotional distress and despair and stuff like that, and they'll do, different kinds of divination and stuff like that out of anger, out of hurt. And that will backfire and cause them to end up, in a worse situation than they're already in. And it's something that makes it hard to shake because they refuse to deal with, what they already have on their plate, and they go overloaded, with something coming back to them because somebody is, not doing anything to them. 8 of Pentacles, the Empress. Like, somebody's already, out of their league as far as them, trying to attack them or, wish ill on them because something is happening for them and not, whatever's happening over here that they got snitched on and shit like that, just using it as an example. They can't, try to throw brimstone and fire, at somebody else, because they don't want something, to go down in the books for them the way they wanted it for themselves. But then, that's their fault. They got caught up. It was time for them to be exposed. It was time for the truth to come out. And it was time for somebody to have, to release that fear of, changing when staying the same or trying to stay in that same mindset and behavior is really getting you nowhere, but lining you up with people that's like you that refuse to change as well. So you change, then you can go towards somebody else that's changed, and y'all can, benefit off of the changes and the lessons you've learned together and keep moving forward. But as long as you sit in your bullshit, you're gonna end up sitting in your bullshit with somebody else sitting in their bullshit that you with, and y'all just be that, miserable in some miserable shit together. But there's some, forward movement here, some fast, big decisions, okay? All right, earring. Big decisions coming in, and there's a lot of, things that's going to be exciting, you know what I'm saying, for you. But I feel like, this is divine intervention. Like, this is, somebody else, having to deal with their own situation instead of trying to make problems for you, or you making problems for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Take it how it resonates. Because at this point, somebody's wanting to come towards you, to express something, give you a message about something. But, it's learning, you know what I'm saying? This person need to learn how to nurture, and look out for themselves and be, you know what I'm saying, a lot more wiser about their decisions, like the collective. But you can't make, you know what I'm saying, like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I don't know, this could be a baby dad or something like that, or they could have kids with somebody, like I said, that came out in the beginning of the read. You know what I'm saying? But especially if this is somebody that's King of Cups, could be somebody you wanted a romantic relationship with. You know what I'm saying? But at that, like I said, this person may, be having some forward movement and stuff like that, but that may have been the fact that this person was stuck in some conflict, you know what I'm saying, because their intuition was blocked. You know what I'm saying? And they may have had some delays and they may have been slow about coming towards you, but that's because, something had to be revealed to them. And until then, they were blocked, from coming towards you, until they, got all the information they needed and they had to come to terms with, with, like I said, the Chariot, coming clean about whatever it is, whether y'all end up back together or not, you know what I'm saying? Or you both decide to move on, move past this, put it behind you. You talked about it, it's over. We're going to go our separate ways regardless, you know what I'm saying? Nice knowing you, you know what I'm saying? Glad I met you, you know what I'm saying? I learned my lesson. It's up from here, you know what I'm saying? But being mature about it, good sportsmanship, all right? Yeah. So whoever this is, they being taken down. Like, I feel like this is separate. Like, somebody being taken down from the inside. Like, this is some type of religious groups. And, a lot of people, may follow in this, these people's footsteps or whatever. But this is somebody that's rising in the ranks, that is new to this, but they coming in like a Trojan horse, like, guns blazing, you know what I'm saying? Talking shit, trying to have, wanting that lifestyle and saying how they, support this and doing that. And that's the very person going to take their ass down. So I'm going to leave it here. This is Intuitive Tarot. Make sure you guys hit that like, that subscribe button on your way out. Do something nice for somebody today, even if you don't know them. And thank you all for the support of my channel. And those of you that genuinely love me, know that I love you too. Mwah. Bye.